Hey y'all, Ramdino here, fresh off the Appalachian Trail, coming back at you for another Appalachian Trail Thru Hiker update episode. If you've come here looking to build the hiker community or be part of the hiker community or help me support the thru hikers, you have come to the right place. And the best way you can do that is subscribe to this channel, then go down in the description section, and down there you'll find a link to all the upcoming 2021 hikers that we are tracking right now. We're tracking over 100 of them, and it is really exciting to see that list continue to grow each week and more people signing up to be on it, more and more people getting ready to get on their trip. So let's go ahead and talk about what's going on with the thru hikers out there. Well, we had several summits this past week, and those were the summits we had were all at Springer, and that was Godzilla, Thin Mints, Tomb Raider, and Coconut, and they all summited together. They had been supported by Fresh Ground for a while, and it was excited to see them as they progressed along, and just really neat to see them. I know there were other people out there that summited. We're tracking, most of who we were tracking have already finished their hike. And so we've got some that are coming up here in the very near future that are going to be finishing, and they may not necessarily be a summit at Springer. They're going to be finishing somewhere in between, but it's excited to see that. And speaking of that, one of those people is Braid. So Braid, she is somewhere closing in on where she had to flip up north to Katahdin and then do her Sobo flip-flop. So she's coming up, she's somewhere south of the Aldi Murphy Monument. So she is somewhere around 150 plus or minus miles. So that was pretty neat to see her go through that area, but she's definitely getting close to double digits. And then Crash Bash and Whole Foods, they are doing great. They're hoping to get into Damascus by the end of the week. They took a day or so off the trail to celebrate another birthday amongst the group there. So they had celebrated before. So they're never going to get finished. If they had a huge family or a huge family, they would never get finished all the celebrations. And Mighty Bones, last known for him was when I was tracking him. I was supposed to pass him on this past weekend's trip, but he ducked into the Rabbit's Hole Hostel there between Hampton and Damascus, that last 42 miles into Damascus, and we missed each other when he got off trail there momentarily. So sorry I missed him, but he is on his way to Hampton. And then Redbeard, he hit some big miles, somewhere around 24 plus to get to Damascus by the end of the week. And he is going to decide then if he's going to get back out before this big weather event comes in. So that we are going to have some weather coming up, moving in this week. It's going to be pretty significant. Different models being different things, but could be accumulations in the double digits. So in Southern Virginia, Tennessee, and even in the higher elevations in North Carolina, like the Smokies. So if you're out there, you guys be very careful and make sure that you've got the gear that you need to get through that. So those are 2020 folks out there. Braid should be finishing before Christmas. The rest of them are probably not going to finish before Christmas. But if the 2021 folks are coming up, and if you would like to follow along with them, and I hope you do, and want to support them, then again, go down the description section and you'll find a link there to the 2020 hiker support list, and go to all their channels and all their places they post and sign up for them, and make sure that you go and give them an attaboy all the way. Also, the folks that are still out there, Redbeard, Crash, Bones, Braids, go out and give them, go to the 2020. That link is also there. Go there and go keep them pumped up on this last little bit of charge they're making to get to the end of their trip. Be sure you go and hit Bones up, talk to Bones a couple times through social media, and so just be sure you go to him, keep him pepped up, keep him going that whole way in. Bones is somebody who is recovering as he's on the trail from a injury, a car accident where he was not even in a car, and it was a pretty bad accident, and he's lucky to be alive, much less out there hiking. So keep him pumped up. That's been a recovery period from him, and as you can imagine, it has been very difficult, more so for somebody that had not been in an accident. So let's keep Bones and the rest of everybody pumped up. And if you're a 2021 thru hiker, please go to this down in the description section. There's a link there for a form you can fill out, and it will automatically put you on that list. There's a lot of people on that list that do not have any social media yet, and that's fine. If you don't, you can always come back and add that later. You'll have to come back through me if you want to change any information, because it is a closed source once you sign up, just to keep people from going in there and messing it up. So if you do change something, change a date, add social media, please let me know. I'll be glad to put that in there, no big deal. And if you don't want to fill the form out just because you don't want to deal with it, send me your information. I'll be glad to fill it out for you. Just need your name, your trail name if you have one, your direction of travel, when you're leaving, and any social media accounts that you'll be using to update folks with. So for registrations, we've got with the ATC, last week we had Nobo, we had 1,277, and this week we've got 1,407. Flip-floppers, we had 50 last week, and this week we had 65. And Sobo, last week we had 46, and this week we've got 67. So we've got a total last week of 1,394, and this week 1,588, for a difference of 1,124. So the total in 2020 in registrations for 2020 by this time last year was 1,156. So we're up 362 people. That is almost a third that we're up. So almost 33% is what we're up from last year. So that don't sound like a lot, you know, that many people. But 362 people, but a third more people going is, and we're not done with registrations yet. So we've got 4 days that are maxed out so far, and that's of course the ATC lowered how the maximum number of folks that are on the trail. They consider the trail to be maxed out. So we're maxed out for 400 days, or excuse me, for 4 days. We have had some folks that have already canceled that had originally signed up, and then they've canceled just due to COVID. I guess they've just figured things were getting since they signed up. So unfortunately they have canceled, but I would say that, you know, the jury's still out on that. I feel like that things are going to be getting better toward the end of the year, so maybe you could consider a flip-flop or Sobo flip-flop or something like that, or maybe span it across 2020 and 2021 and 2022 if you can afford that, or if you can afford that from taking off from work or what have you. So I think it can still be done next year. Things are getting better, and of course the vaccine came out, and things are just going to get better with that, and I'm going to keep things on a positive note, and we'll see some positive things coming up here in just a second. One of the things I did want to cover, though, for June 1st, you know, all the way through June, and of course in July too, but last year, in the last 2 years, Katahdin has not opened June 1st. In 2020, it didn't open until July 1, and in 2019, it opened June 15th. So I was doing the Smokies in 2019, and I met a guy that was coming through, and because he was from overseas, he flew in and he went to Katahdin, and it was closed. The Hunt Trail System up to in Baxter State Park up to Katahdin was closed, so he could not summit Katahdin, so he had to go ahead and start his Sobo trip. And when he got to the Smokies, he was not going to have enough time to go back and summit. So he actually did not get to finish the trail, did not get to summit at Katahdin. And a lot of people in 2019, they had to, you know, they were already had flights and everything booked up there, and so they just had to start Sobo. Then some of them went ahead when it did open and flipped back up, summited, and then shuttled back. So all that takes expenses. So just keep that in mind, that it's not a guarantee that Baxter's going to open June 1st. And so far, since I've been tracking, it has not done that. So some really good positive is a go. It means that the town council met and they decided that they are going to have trail days, unless the governor up there in Virginia puts limits on the number of people at a gathering. So hopefully that's going to happen. They made the call just this past week at the town council meeting. Their website is up and running. It listed for May 14th through the 16th, which is, that weekend is the typical weekend day. So to me, that's awful exciting, because I love going to trail days. I've actually only been once, and I hate that we didn't have it this year, but it's a lot of fun. I would encourage anybody out there that that enjoys hiking, the hiker community, whether you're AT or not, but especially if you love the Appalachian Trail, to go to trail days. It is a hoot for sure. Unfortunately, the ATC has canceled the Flip-Flop Festival for 2021. And then the festival that is a Trail Fest that is down in Dahlonega, Georgia, that's typically in September, they're hoping to have it. Of course, that's later in the year. And then the Hikerpalooza in Rome Mountain, they are planning to have that, and that is somewhere around May 7th. That's the weekend before Trail Days. So it's exciting to see all those trail days, festivals, all those trail festivals that are still going on, and I'm looking forward to those. There was the Southern office of the ATC had a meeting amongst some folks here that are hostel owners and club trailhead folks down here, and in the southern section they had a meeting, a Zoom meeting, got together. One of the things that came out of that was that the ridge runners will likely not be helping with the privies. Typically, the ridge runners are the ones that maintain the privies. So the privies have not been maintained for some time now. During COVID, they hadn't been doing it, and they're supposed to be closed, but they are getting used. So, mess for sure. And then I was also in Damascus on a section hike, and we ended up in Damascus and went by the new ATC Visitor Center. So it's coming along nicely. They have it in the dry. It's scheduled to be completed late May to early June. I don't know if they're going to make that, but in any case, that is too late to be there for trail days. So they definitely won't be completed unless they find another gear. Won't be completed for trail days. Also saw where the AMC huts up in the Whites in New Hampshire, they are open now, and they are taking reservations for 2021, so they plan to be open. So that's awful exciting to see more and more stuff up and down the trail opening up. So as far as trail angels go, we had a really neat thing happen. Had a trail angel come on board, and he's come on board in a big way. Jeff Hamilton has offered up his home for a respite for no fee. Trail there around the Bear Mountain Bridge, and he will go and pick people up within a reasonable area, and he will cover all of New York State in a hiker emergency. He's offered, and it's within his place is within walking distance. He's happy to pick people up off on the east side of the Bear Mountain Bridge, the east side, just so he doesn't have to pay that toll to get across. Fire pit, you can do laundry. For him to do that, leave his contact information on the sheet that has the hiker support list. Down at all the way at the bottom of that, you'll find trail angels down there. And then I also have a private list. If you're ever out there on the trail and you're a thru hiker and you need somebody to get to you, whether it be for an emergency or you need some resupply or a shuttle or something like that, this is a trail angel list that are helping people out, particularly during this time. They helped out last year, and they're helping out during this time during COVID, just to support the hikers more, because there's some places that are still closed, there's some shuttles that are still not operating, and it's kind of up in the air what they're going to be next year. And so these folks have volunteered to help out. It is volunteer at no fee. However, I would appreciate it, I'm sure they would, if you would give them at least offer them some donation. Most times they don't accept, but it's really nice when you do that. And Jeff does ask that you join his hiking group and post your journey there. His hiking group is a Happy Hikers Gang. So we appreciate you being a trail angel, Jeff, and look forward to people posting there on your site and just how things are going for you up there. Folks, that's all I got for you this week. I appreciate you tuning in. As always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out here.